All right, guys, welcome back.
Yeah.
UIL back home. So yeah, this is going to be a very important episode, something that we always have to cover periodically. Credit, very important topic when you talk about finance, financial literacy, business. And Shonda Martin, somebody that we actually had on a few of our events, but never had an interview. We had an event in Oakland with Chase a few years ago. We did that.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was real fun.
And then InvestFest.
Yep.
You did InvestFest twice, right?
Did InvestFest twice, and we went to Howard.
Yeah. And we went in Howard. That's
We went to Howard, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, this is home team.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's home team. This is home team.
Yeah.
This is home team.
Yeah. So she's been on the road with us. But like I said, we haven't actually been able to have a formal conversation. I know a lot of people come to the events, but there's probably going to be more people that actually get a chance to view it in this capacity through audio, YouTube, and, social media. So, yeah. First and foremost, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, for sure. So you're a credit educator. I know you're the owner of your company, which is Road to 750.
Yes.
And Credit Academy. So first, obviously we got a lot of questions about credit, but how did this start for you? Because there's a lot of people that say that they do credit, stuff like that. But how did your journey end up to where you are now?
Yeah. So it kind of happened by accident. Like literally, I was in college, and that was the first time I realized I did not have good credit. I tried to get a car. They wanted me to finance it at like 28%.
Damn.
I took it because I didn't even because I didn't grow up learning about credit or knowing about credit. It wasn't a thing. So by the time I realized I had bad credit, it was too late. I was already mid-contract. So when I, went to renew my car, they told me, hey, you can't. You're going to take negative equity into your new loan. You need to fix your credit. And I just went home and I just started researching it. So as I began to like fix my own credit, repair it, and like build, I started like telling my family and friends about it, like things to do, things that were working for me. And it started with me starting a Facebook group with like 10 people just for my family and friends. And that group now has over like 600,000 people, but it started just in that group, me thinking I'm sharing credit information with family and friends. And I ended up going to school for it, changing my major, switching my major, studying it, getting certified, getting board certified. And it kind of just happened like that. I started trying to fix my own, and then I just like became obsessed and fell in love with credit.
28% is crazy. Were you aware that your credit, I mean, obviously it was a surprise to you, but what were the things that you were doing looking back that were negatively affecting your credit? I
think my biggest thing was I hadn't built credit at that point. Like I was always taught no credit cards, cash, buy everything. If you don't have the money for it, you can't afford it. Now I know that of course it's not true, but living that way, caused me to not have credit. And then the credit that I did have, I had like a few collections, just low level like T-Mobile phone bills and stuff like that. But yeah, so I had no credit, and then on top of that I had a few bad accounts.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So okay. So when did you start teaching credit?
So it started, like I said, with just sharing information, I would say, with my family and friends. I didn't start officially teaching it until I got certified. So I was certified through FICO, and then I went to get board certified as a credit educator. And so that was when I was like comfortable with sharing information. I'm just the type that I don't like to teach or educate about anything that I don't feel like I'm an expert in, especially online, because people crazy. So yeah, I definitely, after I realized like I had a passion for it, I knew that this was something that the people that look like me in my community, I knew that this was something that they was missing. And I knew that I could explain it in a way that they would understand, which is what was like the driving force around me getting the formal education and then like translating it to my audience and people that look like me.
So what is that? Is it a FICO certification?
Yes.
What is that?
They need the program back. But it was a program where you would go through, it was 8 weeks, and you would literally just learn the ins and outs of the FICO score, like how every single point is allocated, how your credit, we had to break down a credit report. I'm able to like look at a credit report and immediately identify any areas of opportunity. Like the FICO course taught you in a way that credit is not being taught anymore. It was just like diving in detail about how every single item affects your score, things that will lend points to your score. And it just kind of took the mask off, I would say, of just credit scoring.
So when we talk about FICO, a lot of people, what's your FICO score? What's your credit score?
Yes.
How does this work? Because we know that there's bureaus, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, and then there's FICO. Are the scores from those three bureaus average, and that becomes your FICO? So how does that work?
So the easiest way to explain it is we have 3 separate credit scores. They're assigned by TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So those are 3 scores that you're assigned. Now, when it comes to FICO score and credit score, FICO score is the industry standard. So like if you're purchasing a home, if you're buying a car, applying for a credit card, they're going off your FICO score.
Okay.
The difference is most people are only privy of their Vantage score, which is essentially just like a free version of FICO score. And that is like when you have Credit Karma. Most credit monitoring apps will give you your Vantage score as opposed to your FICO score, which is why a lot of times people will think that they know what their credit score is and they'll go apply for something and they're like, well, Credit Karma was telling me I had a 650, but the car lot is telling me I have a 540. So there are 3 different credit scores, and to not make it complex, FICO has many different models. So depending on what you're applying for, the lender will choose a different model that they'll pull.
I think I've seen that. So it was like if I needed a loan, it was like FICO score 8. Or if I needed a credit card, it was different bureaus inside of it. And they could be similar or they could be vastly different.
They could be vastly different,
Yeah, because they're graded differently?
True. So the ones that I like to talk about, because I think that everyone should be aware of these different ones, FICO 8 is the one that's used the most. So especially when you're applying for credit cards, some car and personal loans, they're going to use FICO 8. When you're purchasing a home, they're specifically going to use FICOs 2, 4, and 5, which are known as the mortgage scores. If you're purchasing a car, they're going to use your FICO 6, which is your auto score.
Okay.
So those are like the 3 most used versions or widely used versions of your FICO score. But the way that I teach credit, when you fix your credit profile, it'll translate across all scores, which is why I don't necessarily like place too much emphasis on the different versions of your FICO score, because if you have a healthy profile, it'll translate regardless of which score is pulled.
Keep it healthy.
Yeah.
So what factors contribute to your personal credit score?
So your credit score is broken down into 5 categories, right? So most people know your payment history is 35%, your credit utilization is 30%, credit age is 15%, and then hard inquiries and credit mix are both 10%, right? So those are the 5 factors that lend to your credit scores. Now they're weighted differently. So payment history is 35% or worth up to 192.5 points. Credit utilization is worth 165 points. Credit age is worth 82.5 points. And then hard inquiries and credit mix are both worth 55 points each, right? So those are the separate factors. And when you're building your credit, if you focus on those top 3 categories, which is credit utilization, payment history, and credit age, you'll have at least like a 680, 690, and sometimes even a 700, depending on.
So can you go through each one of those top 3? Like credit utilization, explain.
I definitely can. So payment history is the largest factor in your credit score. So in layman's terms, pay your bills on time. If you cannot make a payment, schedule an arrangement with your bank, because the second that your bank reports a late payment, which is a payment that's 30 days past the due date, you will have a late payment. Because your payment history is the largest factor, one late payment can literally drop your score up to 100 points, depending. And so then credit utilization, which is one that's slept on, and honestly, it's the one to me that has the most immediate impact on your score. So what I mean by that is your credit utilization is pertaining to credit cards. So how much you're using your credit card, how much of a balance you carry over to the next month is going to determine your utilization. Keeping that below 10% is going to do wonders for any profile. And then credit age is something that when you're in the beginning of building your credit, you're not really going to have any control over that. As you open new accounts, close new accounts, if you are repairing your credit and you're getting things deleted, that also affects your credit age because it is an average. So after you get your base level credit profile, and we can go into that, don't apply for anything for 6 to 9 months, and that'll aid to improving your credit age. Because that's the mistake that a lot of people make when they're building credit. The probably the number one mistake.
Is what?
Applying too fast, trying to build credit too fast, thinking that anything that they apply for and get approved for, it's a great thing for their credit profile.
So the kid that's walking on a campus right now, he's walking into that CAF, and those companies are waiting for him to give him that $500 card.
Yep.
Or the $1,000 card.
Yeah.
Sometimes $2,000 if they know you, right?
Yeah.
We want to make sure that they're using 10% of that, perhaps.